Now, in order to clean up the barrel and the receiver for bluing, I'm going to need to remove the lever, the stock and the trigger. Now, that doesn't affect the mainspring because that's held in place by the rear sight. However, you do have to be a little bit careful because there is a trigger spring, at least one trigger spring in there. So when you take it apart, you don't want that, lose that. It's a fairly simple procedure, so I'll close in on it and I'll show you what I do. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the lever. There are matching nuts on the other side. These are not normally tight, so hopefully this will come off relatively easy. Famous last words. Oh no, that's actually quite loose. I'll pull that out. Yeah, that is the actual original, by the looks of it, lever retaining bolt. Excellent. There we go. Yeah. And there you can see some of the original paint that was on the lever, so it looks like the lever was originally black. Not sure whether I'm going to repaint it or whether I might just, clean it up. Next, the stock retaining bolts, which is that one there and that one there. I'll take the top one out first. This is normally just a wood screw. It can be quite a long wood screw. Let's put it on its side, it'll be easier, I think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so quite a long screw. And then this one. Yeah, then these aren't tight, I didn't think they would be. There we go. That's the stock retaining bolt. This should just pull off now with a bit of luck. There we go. There's the trigger spring. And yeah, there's the stock. So the last remaining thing is the, I don't know what you can see in there, is the trigger assembly, which we will, yeah, there you go, which is only held in place by that one bolt. So we'll take that out, and that should just come out. There we go. There's always one, isn't there? That's the trigger retaining bolt. And there is the trigger. Very, very crude and very, very simple. So, as I said, the spring is retained by the rear sight, so that will stay in there. But now I can get on and clean this up. Yeah, so this I can now set to attack this with the wire wheel, get that all nice and clean and shiny, ready for bluing. I might give this a little going over. It could do with a rub, just to clean it up a little bit. And same with the lever. I'm not going to show you all the wire wheel work because it's just boring, and it will take some time. But I'll just show you what effect it has initially, anyway. So, as I've said before, this is a brass wire wheel. I'm leaving the bottle cap in place to start with because I want to clean it up while it's on the gun. I think you can already see what a difference that's made. see that quite clearly, brings it up, lovely. I'll go down and finish the rest of this off. So as I said, it's going to take some time. Well, let's take about 10 minutes to quarter of an hour maybe, and it's now come up really nice. It's all ready to be given its final wipe down with some acetone, and then we'll wash it off, rinse it off with some water, cold water, and then it's ready to be re-blued. Come up lovely. And I'll close in on the roll stamp because that now has become completely legible, whereas it wasn't before. I'm not sure how well this will come out. It's difficult to get the lighting right because it tends to glare, but model number 155, Daisy Manufacturing Company. And then if we rotate it round a little bit, you get this piece here with Plymouth, Michigan, USA, and then there's a patent number underneath it there. So that's now all become completely legible, which it wasn't before. So the next thing I will do will be to start the bluing process on the barrel and the receiver. I've got all the nuts and bolts and the trigger and the spring, I don't know what you can see there, the soak-in, that's in some acetone. That will just remove all the mucky grease that's on them, and then I'll clean up the trigger on the wire wheel. But yeah, it's going to look a hell of a lot better when it's done, definitely. Well, pretty much the only thing left to do now with the Daisy 155 is to sort out the lever, and I've got my trusty Banggood die grinder on its slowest speed with a Scotch-Brite wheel in the end, and we're going to have a go at polishing this up using the using that. So here we go. This is the lightest grade of Scotch-Brite wheel I've got, so it's all very gentle, shall we say. But it does a good job on the aluminium. And we're very lucky that the Scotch-Brite wheel just about fits nicely inside the lever. So I don't know why that's going to come out on the camera. Hopefully that will come out okay. Let's turn the lights away a bit, dim it down a bit. There we go. So I think you can see the difference between the polished part and the unpolished part. So it does a really good job. And like I said, we're lucky enough that the wheel is small enough to get inside the handle of the lever. So yeah, so I'm going to carry on with that and come back when it's done. Wow, the Scotch-Brite wheels have done a really superb job of cleaning up the lever. That's looking really nice now. I think originally it was black, but I'm just going to leave it polished aluminium. I like that finish, and it's going to contrast well with the rest of the BB gun. So yeah, I think it's pretty much ready to go to get back together. I think the rest of it's all done. So yeah, let's get it reassembled so you can have a look at it. Well, here it is, the finished Daisy number 155, and it's turned out okay. I'll close in and we'll take a closer look so you can see what it's like. Now, the bluing on the barrel came out okay, but as we come further down the receiver, then yeah, I don't know what happened. The receiver very definitely is not as nice as previous barrels I've done. It's a bit streaky, and it went quite pale at this end. But don't get me wrong, I mean, it's still a hell of a lot. Let me tip it up a little bit so you can see it a bit better. It's still a hell of a lot better than it was. You know, I'm not unhappy with it. And I say the roll stamp is nice and visible now on the top. And as I said, the top turned out okay, but it was the size really that really let it down. But again, I'm new at this, so I'm still learning on it, but no, I'm quite happy with how it finished. It turned out it was it's infinitely better than it was when it arrived. I like the polished aluminium lever. I'm definitely going to leave that. Now the stock, all I did with the stock was I took some very fine wire wool and I rubbed it down to get any marks off. And there were a few black marks and grubby stains on it, and I took all of those off with the wire wool, then gave it a good rubbing over with wire wool, and then I just gave it 2 coats of tung oil, and it's come up really, really nicely. There's still a few dents and nicks in it, which is just, yeah, you'd expect that from use. No, it's come up okay. I'm pleased with the finished result. I'll flip it over so you can see the other side. Other side looks quite nice too. Again, we'll pan down it so you can have a closer look at it. Again, the stock really does look nice on it. This side's not quite as bad as the other side. It's a little bit darker, not quite as streaky. So, as I said, I'm still learning about this, and I think that the whole barrel bluing process is there's a certain amount of alchemy involved, as well as science. So yeah, I'm pleased with how it's turned out. So I think the next thing, of course, is to shoot it. So I'll get a target set up, and we'll shoot a few BBs. Well, I'm not too unhappy with that at all. Now this time I was sitting down and using a rest, but we've got a very nice grouping here. That's nice. One flyer, that's probably me. I probably jerked the gun when I was firing it, but this is perfectly acceptable. You got to remember that this BB gun is at least 70 years old. It could possibly be 90 years old, and that's over my short range indoors, which is about 8.5 meters. But then these things weren't designed to shoot over vast ranges, you know. And of course, there's no reason to believe otherwise, that this is the original spring that's in this gun. So yeah, but well pleased with that. So that about wraps it up for this one. The Daisy number 155, manufactured sometime between 1931 and 1955, 56, that time period. I was very lucky with it because it was in good condition to start with, although all of the original finish had been removed from the barrel and the receiver, as you saw. But yeah, I'm very pleased to have this. As I said, what's really exciting for me is that this is my first bottle cap gun. It's got the bottle cap shot tube on it, which is great because that was what the early Daisies, they all nearly pretty much all had that. So I'm pleased to have one of these in my collection, and it's gonna go on a spare space that's already been reserved for it on the Daisy rack. So yeah, and I will have a lot of fun shooting at tin cans with this one too. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.